our employees, and welcome. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Sam, and I'll be your moderator throughout this presentation. In just a second, we're going to be joined by Patrick Ray. Patrick is one of our advisors, and he is going to be delving into comprehensive lump sum strategies to help you preserve your retirement funds. He'll cover some proactive measures to help you steer clear of any financial hiccups in retirement. Before Patrick comes on, though, I'd like to just quickly go over a couple of housekeeping items with you. First and foremost, we are not affiliated nor endorsed whatsoever by Caterpillar. We are a completely independent group of financial advisors here, so please keep that in mind as you're listening along today. After the presentation has ended, you will be redirected to our homepage where you can book an appointment with either Patrick Ray himself or one of our other Caterpillar-focused advisors to take advantage of a complimentary cash flow analysis, which Patrick will go over with you in detail, or to take advantage of other resources we have available, or to simply make an appointment with one of our advisors to speak to them directly about your specific concerns or situation. If you have a question throughout the presentation, please feel free to enter it into the Q&A box. It's completely anonymous, and I promise no one ever goes unaddressed. I will make sure that someone reaches out to you shortly to address your question or concern and speak to you directly either via email or by phone. No one ever goes unaddressed, I promise you. And without further ado, let's jump right into the presentation with Patrick Ray.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Patrick Ray, and I am one of the advisors here with the Retirement Group. And today we appreciate your attention. We're going to be talking about the Caterpillar Retirement Plan, and specifically the eligibility that's involved for the pension itself, what's required of your service and your salary, your eligibility as to what it means to you when you actually become eligible, and then a couple of the formulas that are relevant to how they actually calculate this plan. And so for the eligibility, you are eligible to participate in this plan if you are on the U.S. payroll and you meet the following criteria. And the criteria is basically employed by a business unit, a facility, or a pay group of the company or a subsidiary to which participation in the plan had been extended to you when you were hired, either before December 1st of 2010 or rehired before January 1st of 2011. And if you're unsure of this list, because it's a quite lengthy list of subsidiaries and such, that you are recommended to call the Caterpillar's Benefit Center, which is 877-228-4010, and they will give you a list of these adopting employers as to which one of these provides you pension eligibility, assuming that you came from one of these subsidiaries. And so as far as your service and salary is concerned, the main factors are to consider calculating the monthly pension, which is the benefit, one of the benefits at Caterpillar as an employee, and their years of service and their salary. Those are basically the main criterias, and there are three methods used to count service, which is 1, credited service, 2, your years of service, and 3, your vesting service. And we're going to go through an example here in just a moment on how that looks in formula versions. But as far as the eligibility, it needs to be as a minimum one of these 5 bullet points. And so basically you can be age 65 with at least 5 years of participation in the plan. There is no minimum age if you have 30 years of service. And if you're between 55 and 59, you'll need 15 or more years of vested service, which the traditional credited formula is not available for this particular calculation. And then if you're older 55, if your age plus vesting service equals 85 points or more, you would be pension eligible. And then finally, if you're 60 or older with at least 10 or more years of vested service. So this is one of the 5 ways on this particular slide that you can become eligible from a pension perspective at the company. So credited service formula is a combination of the years of your service and months of credited service, and then they multiply that by something called your basic pension rate, and they add in any additional supplement pension rates, which equate to what is deemed out to be your monthly pension amount. And so on the final earnings method, which many of you on the call will qualify for the final earnings method as to be the most beneficial version of this calculation, where they take the final average monthly earnings, which are based on the best 5 of your most recent 10 years with the company. And so the 5 years, which is the best part about this calculation, is that it doesn't have to be the most consecutive 5 years of your plan, just the most or the biggest of the last 10. They have to be the biggest 5, or they will be the biggest 5, which creates the biggest pension value for you. And the reason that that's significant is we've had some people who adjusted their jobs to leave a higher paying job just to stay on the payroll because maybe their job was going away, and it gave them a chance to continue to be employed with the pay with the company, and then just accept a smaller pay. And so it's possible that within the last 10 years you took a pay reduction to stick around. And if that were the case, then they would still qualify as to using your five highest of your most recent 10 years, and they don't have to be consecutive. And then if you, in fact, have worked less than 120 months, then the final average earning monthly formula for you will be based on the entirety of your employment there. And so let's take an example and take a look at how this kind of plays out for this 62-year-old, which their years of service for a maximum part of the calculation, which is 35 years in this particular example. And so their final average monthly earnings is $4,000 per month. And so they take the 35 years of service and the 1.5 factor, which gives you a 52.5% amount of that highest earnings per month that this particular person had, which is 4,000. And so if you take 52.5% and multiply that by the 4,000, which is the highest of the final average monthly earnings, that gives this person a payout of $2,100 per month. And so the next biggest question and thing that comes up is how to take the benefits. And so there are a couple of different formulas as to how the annuity plays out to you, meaning that you can select as a default the joint and survivor option. So if you're married, you would get your spouse would get 50% of your benefit in the event that you suffer an untimely death. The biggest payout is the single life annuity payout, which gives you the most money for the payee or the retiree. And then, of course, when that person suffers an untimely death, there are no more payments. And we find this particularly common with the people who have done some legacy planning and potentially have life insurance on the books to take advantage of if they do suffer an untimely death, that tax-free death benefits from a life insurance policy are paid to their spouse instead of a taxable monthly pension amount. So that's something to consider. That's called pension maximization. And if you haven't considered taking a look at that, you might very well wish or want to do that, because it might be a very advantageous way to leverage money and get the most from the pension in general. And then you've got a contingent annuity option, as well as a period certain with respect to your years is an additional option. And then for some of you who opted into the PEP program many years ago, it gives you a lump sum option of your pension in general. So the moral of the story of these slides, and basically what we're here to talk about today, is the effects of the planning process and what it means to you over your life expectancy. And so because from an inflationary perspective, things like fixed payments from Caterpillar when you decide to retire don't do well in a rising interest rate environment or in a longevity environment, because as time goes on, your payments from a valuation perspective continue in a real time to decline the closer you get to life expectancy, right? So the purchasing power of the $2,100 in that example we just saw here a few moments ago is not quite the same in 10 years as it is today. And so because of potential inflationary issues and rising fixed income prices and so forth, you really need to do some planning. And if you hadn't already done so, we know that statistically 74% of the people over the age of 50 do not have a written financial plan. And to be honest, there's really not an excuse for this, because firms like ours do this as a complimentary way to introduce their services to you in case you're looking for a partner in retirement. This might be a very good time in an effort to farm out and look at some options as to the planning rituals of certain groups and see if any of those have a particular fit for your family and your needs. Because this is a way that we can incorporate our planning services with people and explain to them not only what we're experts in, but how we can help them along the way to meet their overall retirement goals and their financial objectives. And it's by doing a written financial plan and having an overview done and stress testing where you're at from a financial planning perspective. For those of you who actually have a relationship with an advisory group, good for you, congratulations. But you want to make sure that obviously those individuals have a good understanding of your pension and health benefits from a correlation to how they do or don't apply to you when you transition off the payroll. Clearly, this is an opportunity for you to revisit the fees that you're currently paying, and I'm confident that you do not expect that they work for free. But the question is, do you know how much they get paid? And this is a good question to ask. And frankly, oftentimes it's an elephant in the room per se as to a conversation that some advisors are uncomfortable having with folks. And so this should not be the case. You should be in a crystal clear and a translucent version of the fee where you know exactly what you're paying and what your expectations are from working with an investment group or a team. And that's a question you need to ask. Are you actually prepared to take care of your own finances and your own retirement planning? And if so, then you potentially don't have a good fit or a need for someone like us to help you. But if you're on the other side of the fence and you're looking for a partner in retirement, that this may be a very good time to implement a strategy that is consistent with your long-term goals and your overall objectives, and you start interviewing folks that are in a position like ours to help you. And so you want to ask yourself, what kind of value do they provide to you? What are your expectations? As in, how often do you wish to talk? What do you wish to talk about? Are there things that you want to specifically be updated on as far as what's happening in the investment world? Are the economic conditions? Are you giving full fiduciary responsibility to the team you're working with, or do you want to be included in those discussions before decisions are made? These are all variables and things that you need to consider, along with what the transition is to the healthcare options if you're not 65, as an example. So maybe you're 60 or 61 or 62 and you don't have Medicare to rely on. So what do those options look like? And then, of course, helpful references to people that they've worked with in the past that are from your company, which we have plenty of, and tax advice and other investment and other planning opportunities that might come up from a retirement perspective or from a legacy planning perspective or from an income perspective and all of these things. And I think it goes without saying, but certainly you want to have a relationship with someone who's offered a comprehensive retirement and financial analysis for you, and to have it updated on a fairly regular basis. Typically, we do this every 12 to 18 months for our people who are either interested or open to the discussion, because it's helpful to see if they're on track to meet their overall retirement and financial planning goals and needs. And so the retirement group has been around for quite some time. We have a ton of experience on the team. I, be it a part of that team, is over 20 years as to working with people who are involved with Fortune 100 companies and transitioning into retirement. And we have offices all across the country and significant knowledge with respect to what's going on at Caterpillar and how that applies to you and your pension plans and your savings plans, your medical plans, etc. So again, remember about the specific circumstance of a complementary financial analysis or retirement analysis to have a overall stress test of your overall financial planning, retirement planning needs. And if you haven't done this already, or if you're open to doing this, please reach out to us. There's a number of ways you can do so. You can email us at info@theretirementgroup.com. You can call our 800 number, which is 800 900 5867. And if you have a phone, you can take a picture of the QR code to the left, and it will bring you to a calendar where you can pick a 15 to 30-minute time slot to work with myself or any one of my partners on the team in an effort to answer your questions and kind of help you and guide you through the process and maybe tell you what's involved if you want to know more. And then if you're not already following us on LinkedIn, I encourage you to do that, because the LinkedIn page has a ton of updates with what's going on at the company and great short to read articles and videos that you can follow, and recordings that we do like this are similar to this for Caterpillar specific people. So we encourage you to follow us with respect to what we do there on the LinkedIn page as well. And so as a wrap up, certainly we appreciate your attention. Our goal is to give you some value for the time that you spend with us. So hopefully you found a value in at least spending a few minutes with us this afternoon and what we had to talk about. But we have a lot of things to offer with respect to the financial and retirement planning services side of things. And so please reach out to us in the event that you're open to doing so. And we'll look forward to seeing and talking with you in the very near future. Thanks a million for your time. Have a great day.